take this opportunity as the Ranen Conference President to welcome all of us who have attended our constituency meeting taking place today, 3rd of November 2022. I want to recognize the presence of our leaders from East and Central Africa divisions who are present with us here today, our leaders from West Kenya Union Conference led by our President Pastor Samuel Misiani, our officers from the Ranen Conference, departmental heads, our local church pastors, and all our delegates from our local churches within Ranen Conference. It is my time now to give you a presidential report that will cover all the activities that we did from 2015 when we were elected into this office up to today, 2022, a period of 7 years. This report is going to cover all the activities that took place during that time within the main conference office, within our local churches, and also from our institutions. And when we talk about institutions, we are going to cover all those that took place within our learning institutions and our health institutions for the period of 7 years from 2015 to 2022 that we are now today here to conclude. I want to start by reminding ourselves on the vision and the mission statement of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Because we as Ranen Conference, we operate within this boundary. We cannot operate out of our vision and mission statement of the Adventist Church. So I want to say that the vision of the Adventist Church says that in harmony with the Bible revelation, Seventh-day Adventist Church see as the climax of God's plan the restoration of all His creation to full harmony with His perfect will and righteousness. And this vision leads us to the mission statement of the church that says that our duty is to make disciples of Jesus Christ who live as His loving witnesses and proclaim to all people the everlasting gospel of the three angels' messages in preparation for His soon return, as recorded in the book of Matthew chapter 28 verses 18 to 20, the book of Acts chapter 1 verse 8, and the book of Revelation chapter 14 verses 6 to 12. And based on this revelation, I want to tell our audience that in Ranen Conference, the President's Office, when we started the period that is from 2015, we had also our vision and mission that was guiding us in all our operations as we were moving during these 7 years. And the vision that propelled all the activities within the Ranen Conference President's Office says that to promote for a conference united in purpose of our existence, cherishing the spirit of brotherhood and propelled by love for Christ and His work and for one another for a complete transformation in the work of God. And this vision led us to the statement or the mission statement that we were moving on with, that says, in complement with the mission statement of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, the mission of my office, and that is the President's Office, in this quinquennium of 2015 to 2020 is to nurture workers who will emulate Christ's character of humility and thoroughness in whatever work they do, to lead in the proclamation of the everlasting gospel, and to train workers and members who will be holistic in their approach of work, to turn our institutions into missionary centers, promote complete image change in our churches and institutions, and prepare all for the soon return of Jesus Christ. I want to inform you, friends, that we also had objectives. When we started the quinquennium, we did put down some objectives that we were chasing for from this office. And the very first one says that we are to have a united conference, working in complete harmony and controlled by the Genin Lab. You know very well that when we started in 2015, our conference was divided into small units that was promoting disharmony among the pastorate and among the church members. So the very first objective was to realize a complete harmony among our workforce and among our church members. Number two, we are looking for a mission-oriented conference conducting outreach and in-reach programs weekly, monthly, and annually. We were looking to train all church workers annually, to improve our stewardship trends annually, to have modern buildings in all our learning and health institutions, and also to have a competent staff in all our institutions by organizing annual workshops and symposiums. We're also looking to eradicate spirit of bad politics in all our workers, because we know where there is bad politics, no work can take place. Also to nurture workers who are faithful in handling the work of God and His resources by conducting periodical trainings on professional ethics and on biblical principles. We also went to make sure that we have improved workers in terms of academics, professionalism, by sponsoring at least one per year for master's or doctorate degrees. And finally, we are going to make sure that we enthuse the pastor and his family for their positive involvement in the Lord's work. Those were our vision, mission, and objectives that guided the President's office for the period of 5 years and the additional 2 years that came as a result of the pandemic that came, the so-called COVID-19. This conference became a conference in the year 2010 in February. Remember, we operated as a field for a very long period of time. But now the leadership then started working very hard to make sure that we change status from field to conference. And by the grace of God, in 2010, that's when Ranen changed from a field status to a conference status. And so now the report we are giving is for a conference, and I want to say that this office or this president who is talking to you now is the second president of Ranen Conference after the one who became the president when we became a conference in 2010. Between 2015 to 2022, Ranen Conference has realized an immense growth in terms of churches, in terms of membership, and in terms of territorial realignment. Ranen Conference has realized a very rapid growth in terms of churches. And the recent record that we had before the two territories were again realigned, we had over 600 churches. And in the month of August, some churches were taken to form the southwest and southeast Nyanza fields. The very accurate number of churches that are remaining now, the Ranen Conference that we have, will be stated in the Secretariat report. Allow me also to say that in 2015, we had a population of 125,000 members. And these 49,000 from 125,000 were taken to form Lake Victoria Field, and we remain with the number that kept on growing, and up to August this year, our number also moved to 106,000 before we took another portion to form South Nyanza Field and Southeast Nyanza Field. In terms of territorial realignment, that is also an indication of growth. I want to say that from our number of 125,000 that we had in 2015, this was a very big number that could not be managed from one point of leadership. And even if we could do that, then it was going to make us do a lot of disservice to the membership. So the conference went through a process of subdividing or realigning its territory, and 2 stations, that is Sori Station and Homa Bay stations, went to combine with part of Kenya Lake to form the Lake Victoria Field that is in existence to date. That took place in December 2017. In 2018, we started working now with the remaining stations, which again moved very fast in terms of numerical growth. And when we came to this year in 2022 August, a big section was again taken to form other fields. 16,000 members were taken to form Southeast Nyanza Field, and 35,000 members were taken to form Southwest Nyanza Field, and we remained with a population of around 58,000 members that is now remaining in the current Ranen conference that we have here today. And so this conference has grown because between 2015 to date, we have given birth to 3 fields, and now we are still remaining with a population that, if well nurtured, will still move to make us realize our mission objectives pretty well. Within the 7 years period, in Ranen Conference, we can count quite a number of achievements that we have so far realized. Remember, I have just mentioned about the numerical growth or growth in terms of membership. That is the very first achievement that we can say we realized, because this church exists purposely to evangelize people. So when we see people being baptized and the membership growing, that one is an achievement. I also want to state that another area where we have realized very big achievement is in terms of unity. When we started in 2015, we were all praying for unity. We were all preaching about unity. We were all talking about unity because we wanted to move with a conference where workers relate well in harmony, members relate well with their fellow members in harmony, and members and pastors also relate well in good harmony. I want to state to this congregation seated here today that so far we have realized this unity to a very big percentage, because as we speak, our pastors or our workers relate very well. We love one another, we do things as a team, and we embrace one another. When you talk with the pastors relate very well. When you talk about the workers in the office, we relate very well. And when you look at the relationship between the church members and the pastors, it has seriously improved. And therefore we say that we have achieved this, we have achieved many things in terms of unity between workers and between members. Another area that is also very crucial, and when we started, we all agreed that we must pursue this so that we get it, is about image change. And when we talk about image change, I want to report to this committee that within the 7 years, we have seriously improved the image of our facilities. Just to start with the main conference office. Remember, in 2015, if you look at the roof of the main office, it was not like what it is today. We changed it, and this one we were propelled, as much as we had it in our strategic plan, but we were propelled by a calamity of wind that came and blew out the roof. And so when it was blown away, we said that we cannot just replace the very old iron sheets with the old style, but we went for something that will look beautiful and with quality. So we called an engineer who did the drawing of the roof, and we did a complete new roof with modern iron sheets, as you can see, that has seriously improved the beauty of our conference office. We also realized number of image changes in our local churches. You go around and visit our local churches today, you will realize that most of them have so much improved in terms of infrastructure. We have very beautiful churches. We have very beautiful guest houses. we have very beautiful pastors' houses. And I want to report to this meeting that in Ranen conference, 99.8% of our pastors are hosted within the premises of the churches. Actually, if we talk about pastors who reside from rentals, maybe it's only one in Ranen conference. The rest are residing from good houses that are built by local churches with little support from our conference office. So we host our pastors in very good houses. And in line with that, we also came up with a strategy or initiative of coming up with a plan, a uniform plan, and we rolled it down to our pastors, and we encouraged our local church members that whoever is building any church that is putting up a new pastor's house will go according to the plan, because we were looking for a uniform house that will be all over in our conference, so that when a pastor is transferred from district A to district B, he will not complain of residing in a bad house that will frustrate his family, but he will realize that he will be staying in a similar house like the one he's moving from. So far, we supported that, and I can mention that within that time, we did not do a lot, but we managed to support Kubwe pastor's house, Nyandago pastor's house, Aneko pastor's house, Kujanyokal pastor's house, and Kameji pastor's house. Those ones, we gave them the roof, the iron sheets plus timbers, the entire roofing we did give them, because they did houses according to the plan that we gave them. When we come to our institutions, this was the most pathetic areas when we came into the office. And we were so much disturbed with how the buildings in our schools were looking like. They were so much out of order and out of shape. So we started with Ranen Adventist Primary School in 2016. Ranen Adventist Primary School, the pupils were learning in classrooms made of iron sheets from down to top. And we could not promote this school to outside world because there were no proper classrooms. So in 2016, we built a story building that has taken care of from grade 1 to grade 8. All of them are in the story building, and that seriously improved their enrollment and everything that is taking place in that school. We also did 2 dormitories, because that school is a mixed primary school. But the boys, and it's a boarding, both day school and boarding school. But the boarders who were there, the boys were sleeping in a house in the secondary school. And the young girls were sharing dormitory with the high school girls. This did not augur well with us. So we said we have to start with the young girls. We did a dormitory immediately of 100 capacity, 100 pupils, capacity of 100 pupils. Then we followed with a boys' dormitory of the same capacity. Then the remaining one was now the high school, which was having the buildings which were put many years back by the missionary who was called Bartlett. These buildings, these classrooms, were now out of shape and were condemned. We were just surviving by the grace of God. So in 2018, we started an initiative of coming up with a modern complex in the secondary schools. And I want to report to this meeting that as we speak in the secondary school, we have a modern complex building that hosts administration block, administration offices, and the tuition classes, labs, and other rooms like music room and other special subjects. So in the secondary school, as we speak, we have one of the best buildings in this region and even beyond. We also went to the hospital, and because in the hospital we were lacking quite a number of facilities, so we acquired some of the very important facilities like the X-ray machine and the ultrasound machine plus other equipment. And these machines, the two machines, could not operate in any other room but a room that is built according to the specifications of the people who are experts in that area. So we did a radiology unit which is there, and that's where we have our X-ray machine and the ultrasound machine. We have the bed capacity of 16, and the number of clients were increasing and are increasing on a daily basis. So we went for a 53 bed capacity ward, which is complete and was dedicated here when the high school building was being dedicated. And I want to mention that for this building, for the 53 bed capacity, it was done by friends of Ranen, well-wishers, donors who generously gave their money towards that building. And if there is the money that came from the conference office to that building, which costed over 35 million, then the money that came from the conference office to that building is not more than 2 million. And so we have that ward with 53 capacity. We are only looking for beds so that we start operating in that building. We have so far realized quite a number of achievements in terms of stewardship. Our stewardship trend in terms of tithe and offering kept on growing rapidly, even though we got challenged briefly by the COVID-19, but we realized an immense improvement in terms of stewardship. Also in terms of assets, we also realized good achievements, because during the period we bought a land just next to the gate, 1 acre, that we are planning to use for future development. Somebody also decided, when we went for an evangelistic campaign in Kitunja. Kitunja area is an entered area. When my office and the Kapagambo chaplain did a collaboration, and my office gave money, and the Kamagambo team and the students went for an evangelistic campaign, a mother donated land of 1 acre to our church so that we may put up a health facility in that region. So we have gotten a number of donations, and we also bought a piece of land just next to the gate. We also got a new health facility at Rabur Kogelo church compound. A son from that region got a friend of him who came and sought for a recommendation from my office, which we gave together with the health ministry's director. This guy made a building for a health facility, and the building is almost completed. And when he came from America to see the building, he handed over the building to Ranen Conference, which we are going to operate that health facility in collaboration with Rabur Kogelo district. That's also an achievement that we must recognize. Another achievement that we have to recognize is that under the projects that can boost the economy of this conference, we have so far planted 15,000 trees, the hybrid eucalyptus trees, the South Africa breed. The 15,000 seedlings are very healthy. If you look at behind the campsite here, you will see them. If you go next to the Ranen Dala Church, you will see them. And we are also planning to grow over 30 more in the land where we always do sugarcane, because we realize that this type of tree, within a period of 5 years, they will be mature for sale. And when we sell them to the companies that need them, a tree will go at a cost of 5,000. So if we have like 45,000 trees times 5,000, it will be a serious boost to our income. So we also thought in that line. And I want to appreciate the Equity Bank that supported us and gave us free seedlings. And they came here together with the Deputy County Commissioner from Awendo, Madam Wamalwa, and did a launching program which invited many people when we were doing that project of planting those trees. So we will not stop there. We will continue planting trees. We will continue buying lands. When we get land, we will continue planting trees and doing other projects. There are also other achievements in terms of human resource empowerment, which is very critical, because we cannot operate when we don't empower our human resource. Between 2015 to 2022, we have realized quite a number of achievements in terms of human resource empowerment. So start with pastors. We tried during the period to make sure that annually we conduct a convention for the pastors, where they are trained and they are reminded on some of the work ethics and some of the areas that they need to embrace professionally. We did a very wonderful convention at Migori in 2018, where we invited Dr. Maka from Uganda, who did for us a 3-day convention that really blessed our pastors. The following year, 2019, we did another one, the same venue, where all pastors attended and their spouses also joined them on the final day, which was facilitated by Professor Nonga from Adventist University of Africa. Apart from this, we have also conducted quite a number of seminars for our pastors, not leaving behind the shepherdesses or the minister spouses. The shepherdess chapter under Ministerial Secretary's Office and the shepherdess leadership have conducted numerous seminars at station levels and at conference level to our pastors' spouses that has seriously empowered them and has boosted their morale and self-esteem. Some of these seminars took place within Ranen Conference, and some were done collaboratively with the West Kenya Union Ministerial Office. Other workers equally in the office and in our institutions, we have supported them. Like the office workers, within the period we took them twice for a staff retreat. The staff retreat that went to Jinja and the staff retreat that went to Mwanza in Tanzania. These retreats were meant to boost their morale and to motivate them so that they get re-energized to do their good work. The schools, we have not done much of outreach or retreats for them, but internally they have been doing such. But the one-day retreats or meetings with them where we share lunch together, we did quite a number of them, and we plan to do more. Apart from the retreats and the conventions, I want to report to this meeting that we have also tried by all means to improve our workers professionally and academically. As we speak, our pastors, actually almost all of them, apart from some few global mission pioneers, the remaining are having bachelor degrees and above. They are all trained pastors, apart from some few global mission pioneers, whom some of them are also undergoing a training, pursuing their bachelor degrees. I want to report that we have pastors who are taking their masters, and their masters are well thought about because they have their lines which will benefit this church in future. Right now we have in school those who are taking their masters in New Testament studies. There are those who are also taking their masters in Old Testament studies, those that are doing systematic theology. Some of them have graduated, like in Ranen Conference, we now have one pastor who graduated with masters in biblical studies with a major in systematic theology. We also have one who graduated with masters of divinity, Old Testament emphasis. There are two. We also have some who graduated and went to the new fields that were formed. But right now in school, we also have pastors doing Old Testament, New Testament, and even systematic theology, chaplaincy, and other areas. Apart from pastors, even other staff, the accounting staff, quite a number of them are pursuing their CPA courses. Some are also doing their master's programs. Our teachers, some we sponsored, and we have in the high school one who was sponsored and graduated with masters in curriculum, education curriculum. There are also those who are pursuing their master's program from the primary school and the secondary school. Within the health facilities, we have also sponsored workers from the health facility, and they are specializing in some very crucial and lucrative areas, like radiology, lab technology, and other areas. These are people who have been given local bursary. Some are enjoying the union bursary. This one we do categorically to empower our human resource so that they may deliver and they get motivated. And so I also want to say that in terms of evangelism, which is another very crucial area, I want to report to this honorable committee or member delegates of this honorable constituency meeting that all our departmental heads annually they went out and conducted evangelistic campaigns. From 2016 to date, every year all departmental heads and officers, we go out and conduct evangelistic campaigns and we plant churches. So each departmental head here, within the 7 years, they did evangelistic campaigns and they conducted churches. Each officer the same. So we have conducted those ones and many people were baptized. So departmental heads and officers really promoted evangelism. And also our local pastors, every year they conduct evangelistic campaigns, they plant churches and they baptize people. When it comes to other areas, we have conducted quite a number of seminars, workshops, conventions. And just to mention one of the very important convention that we had just some 2 months ago is the ASI chapter convention. ASI chapter is a very, very, very important chapter in this church, which has not been embraced by our membership for a very long time. But I want to report to this meeting that Ranen Conference has caught the fire of ASI, and we did one in the month of September at Kanga High School that brought over 1,000 people in attendance. This is the convention which was presided over by the Chief Justice Emeritus David Maraga, Dr. Cases, Evangelist Roslyn Okumu, Elder Jared Onyaj. These guys and the SI chapter leaders from the sister unions, these people gave wonderful teachings and members are motivated, and I want to assure you that SI chapter is going to be a very vibrant chapter in Ranen Conference, plus many more conventions that we did which will be captured in other reports. I also want to say, in Ranen Conference, we have 8 departments with 8 departmental heads. These individuals did their best, and when I was mentioning about evangelistic events, these guys went out according to our strategic plan and did what they could to realize our objectives in terms of evangelism and in terms of other areas according to their departments. These departments are, we have the Ministerial and Family Life Department, which was led by Pastor Matthew Squasi, whom currently went to Southwest Mansfield. We have the Stewardship and Church Development and SI Department, led by Pastor Tukiko Chekech. The Publishing Ministries Department and the Youth Ministry Department was led by Pastor Duncan Wow. The Health Ministries and Revival and Reformation is taken care of by Pastor Dr. Morisa Sang. Education and Chaplaincy, Education and Music was taken care of by Pastor Musoba, who also went to Southeast Nyanza Field as Education Director that side. Then we have Personal Ministries and Evangelism. That docket was taken care of by Pastor Joseph Oyola. And when we have Women Ministries, Children Ministries, and Sabbath School, which was being taken care of by Pastor Helen Oweno. And finally, in this conference, we have Communication and Media, and this individual was also handling chaplaincy as a department, and this is Pastor John Obunga. All these people did their best within their ability and with the power of the Holy Spirit to do all that were required to be done in their various departments that has led us this far to realize the achievements that I've so far mentioned. Wherever there are achievements and growth, we cannot miss to have challenges. In an conference, I want to say that there are some challenges that we met that should be addressed. The very first one is lack of income generating projects. We realize that we overdepend on the tithe from our local churches and offering from our local churches. This has sustained us for a long time, but we came to realize that apart from tithe and offerings, the church in Ranen Conference should as well come up with other income generating projects. Because when the COVID-19 came in 2020 and lockdowns were put, no people were allowed to gather in the local churches. There are quite a number of our people who could not do their businesses. All businesses were paralyzed. And so our giving pattern changed drastically. And this affected our conference economically to an extent that we thought at some point to review the allowances to our workers, because we were not sure whether we were going to make it to the end of 2020 if we did not review it. But praise be to God that we did not review it, but we managed to survive, but with a lot of constraint. And so we suggest, and we will make sure by God's grace that in future, after today, we will look into how we can come up with some income generating project that can give this conference money to support the mission activities. That one is very crucial. Another challenge that we realized is there is unfaithfulness in giving among the bigger population of our membership. Some of our members are not very faithful in their giving, especially in tithe and offering. Some don't give the 10% as it is stipulated in the Bible. Some of them give occasionally when they are pushed by events or by circumstances. Some of us give when a pastor whom they love is pastoring. But when that pastor is transferred and a new pastor has come, they stop for a while to look on how the pastor will be conducting himself. So some will give when they are supported or they are loved by the pastor, or when they have harmonized well with a given pastor. But when they realize some challenges, they stop giving. So this kind of seasonal giving that is influenced by activities, by events and personalities is a sign of immaturity among a bigger percentage of our membership, and the conference, we need to address that so that we teach our members in that line. Then there is also lack of stability within the workers in our institutions. High turnover of teachers and even medical staff. And this is as a result of low remuneration packages. This is an area that has really challenged our institutions, and I want to praise God that we try to sustain them when we improve their salary. But what we are giving them, even after improving it from what it was, is still not sufficient, is still not motivating. So that area should be looked into. Those are some of the three main challenges that I can mention, but others are also there, but I've also mentioned a few. I therefore suggest that the conference should come up with income generating project. Somebody will say, why did you not come up with them? But I want to report to this team that Our hands were full. We had our priorities. We started with improving the ambience in our institutions and in our conference. So after improving the ambience in our institutions, then we can now start coming up with these projects, because we know them. We had sat and we had listed some of them, and we will give them priorities. I suggest strongly that in this conference, we need to have a serious diagnostic center somewhere in Rongo, because Rongo is a catch point. If we have a serious diagnostic center at Rongo, that will bring people from Homa Bay region, Kisii region, and even Migori region, where doctors can refer their patients to go and be diagnosed, we shall realize and we shall move a great mile. I also suggest that now that we have Rongo University just next to us, and some of our neighbors have made good use of Rongo University here, I suggest in future that Ranen Conference, we should have a very powerful hostel around Rongo University. We just buy a land, we build a beautiful hostel, and we give students to hire. We will be collecting revenues from that hostel, and it will be boosting our mission money towards our mission activities. I also suggest that we need to make Ranen Health Center become such vibrant enough to get enough income and more to support the conference. We have quite a number of private health facilities outside here that are run by individuals, and they get a lot of money. Ours can equally go the same way. We respect all the church regulations, all the church guidelines, but we make our facility become vibrant to sustain itself and to get surplus to support the mission activities. And I want to say that it is on that road, because to date in that facility, compared to 2015, when in a week or in a day, if they handle 5 clients, that was a blessing. Today in a day they handle over 60 clients because of the vibrant nurses and clinical officers we have there and the facilities. But we can make it better. So it is one area which we should give a lot of concentration, so that we make it become an income generating project to the conference. Another area which should also be made vibrant to boost the economy of this conference is the media center. We have quite a number of media houses outside there. Some of them are also owned by individuals, and they are paying their workers, supporting many projects within their plans and their strategic plans. So even ours, if it is well handled, we can make it become so vibrant. So I want to say that we moved with it, because this radio, we started it in 2016 when we installed it and it started working. Nothing is lost. We have moved with it up to now. Now it's a time to make it become an asset that will support us economically. And also suggest that our institutions should not also overdepend on support from the conference. They should also come up within their board of management. When they sit, they need to come up with other projects that they monitor themselves within their institutions. Institutions like Ranen Adventist Secondary School, Ranen Adventist Primary School, and Ranen Health Center, they can come up with a water packaging industry where they handle this mineral water. We can support them and find a way of how they can get a machine. They can come up with bakery within their schools. There is no need why they should buy breads from outside, loaves of bread from outside. They should have them there. So we are just encouraging them. We have supported them. We are a family, but they also need to come up with such kind of things, the poultry farm and the dairy farm, so that they supply the workers within with milk and eggs and bread, and we also give them money as we buy those things. They are capable of even supplying eggs and milk and bread to the outside community if they strategize well. So some of these suggested income generating projects can make us move a great mile to reinforce and stabilize our economy that will translate in boosting other areas of growth within Ranen Conference. I am very grateful with the prayers from our local church members, from our local pastors, and my colleagues in the office. Their prayers during the 7 years has brought us this far. I also want to say that we still seek for their moral support, for their financial support, and their physical support now and in future. Ranen Conference has a potential to grow to greater heights, and there are quite a number of things that are not yet done in Ranen Conference. Even if somebody was given, any leader was given even many or 10 years or how many years, he will not exhaust them. So if we love Ranen, we will make Ranen what it should be. I also want to thank God by saying categorically to this meeting that all the achievements that we have mentioned and those that have not been mentioned and they are there, like the campsite where we are gathering, all these came as a gift from God. We did not do them out of our own strength or knowledge. We do not do them because we are wise than others. We do not achieve them because we are stronger than others, but it is as a result of our ceaseless prayers and your ceaseless prayers that God decided to give us all these achievements as a gift. So we don't count them things that have been realized because we were better, but we just see that God has done us a great thing. He has spread for us tables in the wilderness. And therefore say that to all our pastors here today, to all our church members here today, to all my colleague officers and departmental heads, that let us love Ranen. Let's not hurt Ranen, because if we hurt Ranen, we will destroy Ranen. There are 3 things that I want to remind us that says, do not hurt the organization. Do not hurt your neighbor or your colleague. Do not hurt yourself. And may God bless you.